So this is a video that I vaguely hinted at over a year ago. When I originally made my top 5 favorite games of all time video, you will see some Miitopia footage where I do some random side quests with only 2 people. At the time, this was supposed to be its own video to be alongside 2 teammate and 2 teammate post-game. But I never ended up making that video, weirdly enough. And when revisiting my top 5 favorite games of all time, to avoid repeating what I say in the Orochi live video, I noticed that footage and thought that this would be a relatively easy and neat little video to make. And here we are. But since I thought it would be too easy, I also removed the horse and save spot. Today we're going to be doing at least one of every type of side quest with 2 teammates, no horse and no save spot. There's 3 different types of quests, one having 2 subtypes. This is going to be pretty interesting. Without further ado, let's go. Can you beat Miitopia side quests with only 2 people, no horse, and no save spot? We'll quickly knock out the 2 easy types of side quests, which I will only be doing one of since they are the same every single time. Kentaro and the youngest Fab Fairy. Kentaro and his snurp hunting is very simple and very easy, there's really nothing to say here. The youngest Fab Fairies wasn't all too bad either. The most common type of boss these quests have is a replica Dark Lord, which is what I also got. This guy isn't really dangerous unless he decides to use Nightmare. This is basically a nullify attack for my Miis because I banned the save spot. Luckily, we do have a couple ways to avoid being affected by Nightmare. One is Krina's Blindfold, and the other is to just hope the Dark Lord slaps the Mii in a Nightmare. Sadly, Krina got put into a Nightmare, which meant the first option was no longer available until she woke up or got slapped by the Dark Lord. Sprinkles are also a pretty good way to stall out the Nightmare, but that does run out, so just hope the Dark Lord attacks you and it should be good. The other type of side quest is the one with randomly generated Wii U Miis that get their faces stolen in their respective boss fight level. These quests have 2 different subtypes, the one where the Mii from the Traveler sub gets their face stolen, or the My Friend Was Abducted, Please Help Me Retrieve Them quest. I'll do 5 of these total, majority of which are the first type since the second type is easier due to the Traveler sub Mii helping in the fight itself to save his friend instead of it being only me and Krina. Here we go. This is relatively close to how hard the regular Cerberus was in 2 teammate. This was hard. Now, I will say that I did commit some really dumb mistakes in and prior to this fight. First of all, my stupid ass did not bring a healer. I did all of these bosses in this video with the same pair I used for the 2 teammate postgame video, which was Mage and Princess. And if beating the Dark Sun like this wasn't enough of a giveaway that I should bring healers, then I don't know what will make me bring healers to my 2 teammate challenges. Second of all, I did not put up a barrier from my Mii, which meant that instead of taking around 50 damage, I took over 100, and even from physical attacks, since Mage and physical really don't match. Both me and Krina were about the same level of defense, but since my Mii has around like 40 less HP, I was way more in trouble compared to her. Not to mention I'm too stubborn to use bananas and almost always attack. My main way of healing all the immense amounts of damage this thing dealt was with sprinkles, which aren't really a reliable source of healing over a long period of time because, well, you run out of them. Luckily, Krina actually used bananas and they healed a really good amount, so I really did not need to heal her as much as I needed to heal myself. Pretty much all the Cerberus variants in this game have a pretty big pool of HP, but happily Tower Flaming it to death was pretty reliable. The Great Harpies are pretty easily taken care of with Giga Explosions at the very start. Overall, this boss was very hard compared to what I would have come to expect. The Golem and Ancient Robots. Ancient Robots are a pain in this challenge. They have a ton of health and they drain your shield sprinkles fast as hell. They take a decent amount of Giga Explosions to take down, and just 2 of them alone were the hardest non-boss enemies in this challenge. If you're not quick enough to put up a shield, they can get close to one-shotting your Miis. But once you get rid of them, the Golem is relatively simple to take down. Also, I did not forget a barrier this time. This made the fight a lot easier to handle. Who would have thought? Overall, relatively simple fight, but the robots are a pain in the ass. The Orochi is probably the easiest boss of the challenge. The black snurps are easily taken care of with a Giga Explosion, or two if your Mii's being dumb. And since the Orochi is a magic attacker, my Mii would not take a lot of damage, especially with the barrier, and Krina was able to be protected with Shield Sprinkles. Overall pretty easy. The Help My Friends Been Abducted quest. The wind is mostly pretty easy. It has the damage output of the Cerberus, but it only attacks twice, so it's far more manageable. The Dual Whopper and Roll Hopper were pretty easy to deal with, and the extra scientist that helped me was very nice to have. The hardest part was easily when the wind blew my Mii away and I had to stall out the fight with Krina and constantly use my HP Hyper and Shield Sprinkles. Once my Mii came back, the wind blew Krina away, but at that point I had already won the fight. Pretty easy fight, but it can turn on you in any moment. Ancient Robots, again, plus this thing steals bananas. There's not much to say here. Giga Explode the robots or Tower Flame them one by one, and then zero in on the UFO while spamming HP and Shield Sprinkles. Pretty simple, really. And that's all. Thanks for watching.